Well, as you've heard, my name is Terry Weaver, and you are listening to another episode of the Making Elephants Fly podcast. You guys, today is going to be an awesome day. We have Jesse Cole from the Savannah Bananas with us. I've got my banana ball here. We're ready to play. If you didn't hear, we took many of our attendees and speakers after the thing Nashville before our VIP day. We went to go see the Savannah Bananas play at First Horizon Park in Nashville, Tennessee. And let me tell you, it was one of the most remarkable experiences of my entire life, was taking leaders to go see the Bananas play. And not just because it was a baseball game. In fact, I couldn't tell you who won, which I think it was the Bananas. I couldn't tell you any of the stats about how many hits or runs, or I paid zero attention to that because I got lost in the experience. And it was one of the most remarkable things I've done in life and in business. And in this suite we have several of our speakers who are New York Times best-selling authors and USA Today best-selling authors that were there with us in the suite. Probably 5 or 7 of us had podcasts. These are all really influential leaders that are sitting there watching this baseball game. And it was just a ridiculously remarkable experience of us getting to experience something kind of fun and unexpected together. And it was super fun and just an amazing experience getting to watch this team play, and the experience of watching all of the people in the stands, of the community that was happening from the thing Nashville hanging out together. And now, as much as I did love the Bananas, what I really enjoyed seeing was the fact that it was just crazy remarkable to watch all of our people on the stage come together, step off the stage, all the people from the seats, hang out, have some hot dogs and Nashville hot chicken together, and watch this game, this experience. But it wasn't a game. In fact, when you walk into it, it says, "Welcome to the show." I'm just super excited for you guys to listen to this conversation. It's a little shorter. Jesse is in the middle of a world tour right now, and I was able to get a little amount of time with him today for me to share with you guys. So this will be a shorter episode than normal, but I think it's a super remarkable one, and I'm going to do my best to get it out to you guys as fast as possible, because it's a great experience for you guys to hear from someone that's leading at a high level. And people ask me, what are the Savannah Bananas? And I'm still not sure what they are. Are they like the circus? Yes. Are they like the Walt Disney World? Yes. Are they like the Harlem Globetrotters? Yes. Are they way more than all of those put together? Yes. It is an experience of putting the people in the seats before anything else. And there's so many organizations. In fact, I was just flying last week, and as I was sitting there, I sat in the seats or stood by the window there with a pilot from another airline that I was flying. You guys know I'm a Southwest man. But I got to talk about this pilot, and we were talking about this experience, and he was sharing with me that his kind of flight experience of the day and his kind of travel and the lines he was waiting in and just all of his day. And we were talking about how the bar has gotten so low for customer service. And what's interesting about the Savannah Bananas and Jesse Cole and what he's built is it's something that is way beyond that. It's way beyond just a normal run-of-the-mill experience. It is truly a fans first experience. In fact, that's their rallying cry. And I'm super excited for you guys to listen and get to meet Jesse. And I'm really excited if you guys would join our little strange fandom that I call The Thing. And as you're listening to this, we're getting plans together for The Thing Orlando. You can go to thething.live, click on the button for Orlando, use the code podcast to save a discount. And I would love it if you would join us in Orlando for an amazing and remarkable experience. The reason why we go to Walt Disney World, the reason why we go and experience things like this Savannah Bananas, is I want you as a leader and you as an entrepreneur to be able to go and experience as these remarkable brands that are doing truly remarkable work. And I want you guys to be able to go and experience and do these things and be able to walk away with your own experience and being able to apply these principles to your business and to the work that you do. I would love it if you would take the time to go to thething.live, consider joining us, Orlando, and get to work on your business. The Thing is in the first weekend of November this year, November 3, 4, and 5 in Orlando, Florida. We're in the Wyndham Disney Springs, right across, literally a 5-minute walk to the Disney Springs kind of entertainment district there in Walt Disney World. And I would love to have you join us. We've got an amazing lineup of speakers, new and old, and it'll be an amazing weekend. And I can promise that it'll be full of some unexpected opportunities, and we'll do some fun things together. We've changed the schedule a little bit because normally the day we would start this year would be on Halloween. And I know many of you have kids, so we're going to start a day later with a VVIP dinner on Wednesday night. And then we will have a VVIP day on Thursday. And then on Friday morning, anyone that has a VVIP or a VIP ticket will get a morning bonus hands-on session. And then we'll start the conference right after lunch on Friday. Go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then on Monday, we will be in a Walt Disney World theme park having a remarkable experience together, doing some fun things. And stay tuned as we begin to unveil. Or maybe we'll just keep all of that a surprise. We do something a little different every year, and this year will be no different. And I can't wait for you guys to experience that with us and having an amazing experience. And one of the things that we noticed, and in fact, Diana Alt, shout out to her, noticed that the ball that this Savannah Bananas use is a yellow ball, which is, if you notice, it's much like our thing logo, but it's a ball they've actually had printed up by the Wilson Company, who makes baseballs and gloves and all those things. But they have a ball that's different, so they wanted to stand out that much that they made the ball different. And one of the things that she said at our VIP day in Nashville was that, man, we're a room full of yellow balls. We're a room full of people who are different, who stand out, who think differently, who act differently. And so if you want to get in a room full of people who are thinking and doing and acting differently, I would encourage you to join us at The Thing. Once again, you can use the code podcast. Go to thething.live. And without further ado, I don't want to put this off any further. I want you to listen to my conversation with Jesse Cole, founder of Fans First Entertainment, a.k.a. the Savannah Bananas. And Jesse shares even and unveils kind of some new things they're working on with going international and playing in Major League Baseball stadiums in the future. And we talk a little bit about that. I didn't even scratch the surface on all the questions I had for Jesse, but I think it's an amazing conversations, and I can't wait for you to hear it. Did you make welcome Jesse Cole to the show? Jesse, welcome, man.
Excited to be with you.
It's a show, not a game, right?
Everything's a show these days in my life.
Yeah, man. If those of you who probably just heard the introduction, I just took the folks from the Thing conference. We had 2 suites at the Nashville Banana Ball World Tour game and had an absolutely amazing time. And I'll be honest, man, I'm a man of many words. I'm an author, speaker, and all those things. I don't get left speechless very much, and the Bananas experience definitely left me speechless.
Well, thank you. It's many years in the works to get to the point where we are now, and a lot of failures, a lot of trials and tribulations, and we're still learning. So I'm glad that we made that impression.
Just as someone who has gone from okay, that's kind of cool, to I'm a legitimate fan, thank you for putting in the work, and thank you for not giving up when things seemed impossible.
Thank you. Yeah, it could have been easy 7 years ago, sleeping on an airbed and $1.8 million in debt, but we believed in something.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that's one of my favorite Walt Disney quotes, and I know, as you can tell by my office, we share an affection for Walt. And he has a quote that says, "If you believe in a thing, believe in it all the way." And I think the Bananas are a testament to someone that had the audacity to believe something all the way. What do you think what is the core thing that kind of gave you that belief in this idea?
Well, I think you look at the greatest creators of our time, and they all share something in common. And they're trying to create something that they would love. You know, even Walt Disney sitting in Griffith Park, watching his 2 daughters on the carousel, he said, "I wish there was a place that adults and kids could have fun together." You know, George Lucas wanted to create a movie that he would want to watch. All creators share that in common. I was a guy who was just bored watching the game. You know, I played it my whole life, but I was bored, and I wanted to create something that I would love to watch, even if I didn't know all the details of the game. And so I was really attacking the boredom of the game. And now, even today, if I'm bored for a second, and like you could tell at the National Game, there's music constantly playing, there's dancing. There's actually what I learned from Disney watching the Imagineer story, that they try to create a ride that you go on at the 20th time and you see something you've never seen before. In our games, I'm trying to create so many things going on that you have to come back because you missed something. And that's basically attacking my own boredom, trying to make something fun that I would want to watch all the time.
Yeah, and those of you listening that are Disney fans, that's the great Tony Baxter. and talked about when he created a ride that talk about riding the 20th time. I've had the privilege to hang out with Tony a little bit. We spoke at a conference together in Anaheim years ago. Literally, just you can tell why he created what he do, because what he has, because just the way that his mind worked towards the person that was sitting in the seat. And that's something that Bananas have really, you guys have really thought about, was the person that would be sitting in the seat. And I don't think a lot of organizations, whether they're teams, musicians, small businesses, I was just at another conference last week, I don't think everyone always thinks about the person sitting in the seat and what their experience is. How do you guys, in your planning, in your corporate culture, because not everyone on your team gets to be a stilt walker, right? Someone's got to do the boring work of accounting. How do you translate that level of fun across every area of the business and that level of belief in creating an experience?
Well, from day one on our website, it said we make baseball fun, and that's kind of been an ethos of fans first, entertain always. I mean, the name of our company is Fans First Entertainment. It used to be Team Colon Associates, which sound like a terrible law firm or accounting office. So if we were Team Colon Associates, I don't know if we'd be having as much fun as Fans First, entertain always. But it's what you talk about. It's what you preach. I mean, I'm the owner of the team, and I'm in a yellow tux all the time. I think we give permission to our team to have fun. Our CFO, he literally dresses up with a cowboy hat, and he has this like a gun holster with Sharpies and everything. I mean, everybody we try to deploy is fun. And I think fun is contagious. When our players are out there dancing in the middle of the game, these are top level athletes. When our players are celebrating like they won the World Series after winning the first inning, that also gives permission to have fun. So I think with most organizations, you think about the highest up people, the owners, the CEOs, the presidents. If you're a sports organization, the players, they are there to do a job, and they act all serious. So how does that give permission all the way down? You watch Walt, he used to walk the park and go on the rides and smile and spend time with kids and dress up, try to hide himself. He was out there having fun, and he told his team, he said, I don't want you to be in the office. I want you walking the park. So I believe it starts from the top, and that's what we try to deploy from myself, from the coaches, from the players, everyone, the top of our organization.
Yeah, when we went to the game, I brought my buddy, who's actually a Disney Imagineer, was one of our speakers at the conference. And McNair, who's been on the show, I think 3 times, he tells this amazing story from Marty Sklar, who was kind of the godfather of Imagineering, that Walt would come through the office just on some days and just start kicking people out of the office and be like, get down the road to Anaheim and go ride some rides. You guys have forgotten what it's like to experience this.
Yes.
And I love that. I love the fact that the vision is really clear from the beginning. And I have a really weird favorite part of the game. Obviously, there was lots of amazing things. But when you guys did your go team moment, hands in the pile, and you yelled fans first, I don't think I've ever seen any organization be that clear on the mission. And I really appreciated that, man. That was very noticeable.
Well, thank you. And for the group for the listeners who don't know about it, that all started organically. And so right before that, you saw everyone, the team, the players, the cast, the fans, arms around each other in a giant circle, where our tuba player was playing the beats to Stand By Me while everyone sings Stand By Me. Sounds very kumbaya, but that started out of nowhere because our first One City World Tour, our band had played for an hour and they were exhausted. So literally the tuba player just started playing by himself and everyone started singing Stand By Me. And then after that, we knew, hey, we got to bring everyone together. And it was our catcher, who knows who we are and what we stand for. He broke it down and had everyone say fans first. And to think it's not only just our organization, but the fans are actually chanting for themselves and who we are and what we believe in. That finishes every single night, every ballpark we're at all over the country. And I'm glad, because not many people get to see that. Only 2, 3, 4, 500 of the people that are left that get to experience that moment.
Yeah, and it was great because we got stuck in traffic because one of the things the Bananas can't control is the logistics around the stadium, which I'm sure is something your team is sitting around on a Monday, throwing their hands in the air, trying to figure out. So we didn't get the full welcome kind of early experience, but we were able to stay around to the end. My wife had one request. She's like, I want my picture with the banana mascot. I don't care what else we do. I was like, I'll make it happen. I will find that banana. And we did. And then we got to talk to you for a few minutes after the game, and it was fantastic. Cool. And I will say this, if you're listening to the show and you're a business owner and you're going, man, I don't know, this is a fake baseball game, with people in yellow jerseys and pink jerseys. I don't think this will be something I can learn anything from. It might be the best masterclass on business that I've ever been to.
It's very kind. That's
Um,
very kind.
I definitely walked away going, man, these people understand what it's like to value someone that's giving them money and value someone that's giving them time and attention. And one of the things you talked about is the idea of attention, that attention beats marketing. I love this. And you mentioned in Fans First a quote by P.T. Barnum, one of your other heroes, that without promotion, something terrible happens, nothing. Talk to me a little bit about the idea of getting attention and keeping it.
Well, you got to go back to where we failed. When we first came into Savannah, it was myself, my wife, our 24-year-old team president, Jared, and three 22-year-olds straight out of college. The former team cut the phone lines, cut the internet lines, took everything out of the ballpark. There was nothing left. So we were using our cell phones in an abandoned storage building, calling people and saying, we're here. And we did the mistake of doing advertising like everyone else. Social media, newspaper, radio. We're like, we're here. We're the new baseball team. But no one could care. We sold 2 tickets in our first few months. We were out of money by January, had to sell our house, empty out our savings account. It was brutal. It wasn't until we named the team the Savannah Bananas and shared that we were going to have a senior citizen dance team called the Banana Nanas, that our mascot was going to be split, that we're going to have a male cheerleading team called the Mananas, that every single ticket was going to be all-inclusive, include all your hot dogs, burgers, chicken sandwiches, soda, water, popcorn, dessert, everything for $15 total. It wasn't until we started announcing those things that were different, that weren't like everyone else, that people started paying attention to us and started actually buying from us. And they had to experience it. And so everything we've done, we spend $0 on marketing now. But we're so fortunate. We have almost 11 million social media followers, more than any major league team, NHL team, you name it. We're very fortunate. It's because we do things that have never happened before in a baseball field that are unique. So we create our entire attention plan based on what can we do that we think is fun, that we think our fans would think is fun, that's never happened before. Right after this, I'm going right into an OTT session. There's 5 of us. We come up with 10 to 15 ideas every night at the ballpark that have never happened before, things that we can do. We have 4 games coming up this week. So we're going to bring 60 different ideas that we can actually implement. That's to create attention. It's not to do a marketing campaign. It's not to promote, come buy tickets from us or come buy merchandise from us. People want to buy, they don't want to be sold. So the way to do that is to try to create so much attention that people want to be a part of it. And that's what we've learned from P.T. Barnum, Walt, you name it. Any of the great entertainers and performers of our time have done that tremendously well.
Well, in reality, for people who may not know, I know, all 4 of those games are going to be sold out.
Yeah, they're well, our wait list just passed 800,000. So every game is sold out well in advance. So the wait list, we have about 5,000 people join every day right now.
That's insane, man. And I think what that comes down to is people know that people matter to you. People know that you're not just. And people hear, why in the world would you come up with like 15, 17 new ideas the day of the game? You told that you had a sheet with it. You pulled the sheet out of your pocket and had 17 ideas that you had never done before. And I think that's just as much for your team too, as because it helps you guys be fresh. It keeps you guys kind of on your toes. And
we don't want to get bored. We don't want to get bored. You think other people, how do people get burnt out? It's because often they're bored doing the same thing over and over again. And so the idea is if we're not excited to do something, if we're not looking forward to the game, then that's going to rub off on the fans. So we have to bring the juice and bring the new entertainment. And so that's as much for us as it is for the fans.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love to just, it felt like every night you guys take a rule book and just throw it out and set it on fire. There's obviously a great amount of intention of actually getting there.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think people want to see things they've never seen before, especially today. Think about this right now, Terry. People can get entertained, personalized entertainment at their fingertips every 7 seconds. Things that they've never seen before, but that literally the algorithm knows you'd probably love. So it's better than any TV, better than the internet. People are getting that. So how can we expect to succeed if we deliver the same show every single night? We have to be above that. And so that means we have to push more time into idea sessions, creative sessions, execution sessions, not just, hey, we're going to go have another game this weekend.
Yeah, one of the biggest challenges I see leaders face is this idea of knowing when to start. And you share in Fans First which I highly recommend. Jesse has also a new book called Banana Ball. I'll hold them up here for those watching on the video. Go get these books. I was traveling last week and listened to Fans First on Audible while I was traveling. And one of the things that I wrote down was this idea of start before you're ready. Because I don't think we all really sit around when we have a new idea. Like, it's easy to get stuck before we start. What do you guys do to implement that into your culture of starting before you're ready?
Jared, our president, and I, we went and visited Greenfield Village, Henry Ford, where Walt was actually tremendously inspired for Disneyland. He went and visited there too. We had, the Wright brothers and, the court where Abraham Lincoln studied. And it's set up like, the old 1800s and early 1900s. And I noticed this little tiny plaque walking in, and it said, Henry believed in learning by doing. And that has stuck with me. You can think and write down, and I write every day, 10 ideas every day. I also write in a journal every day. You can write and think over and over again, but you don't really learn until you start doing. An example, we did the One City World Tour. We thought Banana Ball could work out in the world and out of the country. So we said, we're going to do a One City World Tour. But it's once we went to Mobile and saw how people reacted hundreds of miles from Savannah. Had the idea of doing coast-to-coast tour. No clue on what we were doing. Logistics company, merchandise. We bought a 20,000 square foot warehouse. We do all our merchandise in-house. We literally were printing out Excel sheets and trying to send out orders one by one. We had no idea you could actually print out the labels and have the post office come and pick everything up. And we had no idea how to do any of that. But that's kind of the ethos of our company, is like everything's an experiment every day. And so the more you do, the more you learn. And so for us, just start, because you can hypothesize and think over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden you do, and you're like, nope, that was not how I expected it at all. And that's everything. When we're going to go to major league stadiums, we have no idea how to do a major league stadium. We're going to go international. We're just going to do it. Literally, Feld Entertainment, when they made a contract with Michael Eisner for Disney on Ice, Michael Eisner said, we'll only do the contract if you promise to go international within the next 5 years. So Feld made it a priority to keep the contract. He went international. Now I think 40% of their business is international. So think about that. Like, you have to force yourself. What constraints can you push? We're going to go international next year. We had no idea how to do it. The language barrier, the traveling, all that, no clue. But just start, and then we'll learn, and we'll be ahead of everyone else because we're doing something that we haven't done before and people may haven't done in this industry.
Yeah. And for you guys, I'm not sure that there is anyone else. The things that are competing with the bananas are things that are taking up 60 square miles in Florida.
Well, there's amazing touring acts, and I don't want to take away. There's great dinosaur touring acts, and there's Disney on Ice, and there's Monster Truck, and there's Circus Soleil. There's amazing touring acts that we're still in the first inning. We're learning from those giants who have done it. But in the baseball field, there's not much of that because it's hard. Everyone's seen baseball. You have to be such a different experience if you really want to succeed on the road, and that's what we're trying to create.
So it's interesting that you mentioned Feld. I run a conference called The Thing. We do it in two cities. We do it in Nashville and Orlando. And one of our speakers is a guy by the name of Jonathan Lee Iverson.
Okay.
And Jonathan was the last ringmaster for Feld before they ended Barnum and Bailey. And he's become a great friend. I'm actually kind of helping him with his book. He's with another circus this week in San Luis Obispo, California right now. But one of the things I've watched him do as a ringmaster is just lead chaos. As a leader, because you're the ringmaster of this whole thing, as you guys are preparing, the things that you're talking about how your organization has to start to think like Feld thought about with the circus and multiple teams and the blue team and the green team, the other team. And how are you preparing yourself as a leader to lead this kind of next phase of chaos that you guys are creating literally now around the globe as you're talking about?
As a leader, the number one thing you have to have is a vision. You have to believe in that vision. You have to be able to clearly communicate that vision. So after that, it's just having great people that are executors that love the challenge of finding solutions to execute. We have an amazing president in Jared Orton. He's been with us since day one. He's our main executor. And we have same page meetings every single week. And I continue to share the vision. So, the vision.
I love that title. Say that again. Unpack real quick what a same page meeting is.
Well, we got it from the book Rocket Fuel, and every great company has a visionary and an integrator. And you look at Walt and Roy Disney. And it sounds like this is a Disney love affair, but it is. That's fine. I have a lot of inspiration from Walt. But yeah, I mean, Roy was the one that would find the money, find a way to make it happen. Walt would share the vision until he's, blue in the face and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Roy's like, we don't have the money. He's like, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And Roy would help find a way. So on the state page meetings, Jared and I get together and literally we're talking 2024, 2025, 2026, where we're going, what we're doing with the tour, what our big, cannonballs are, as Jim Collins would say, bullets and cannonballs, what bullets have we fired, experiments to lead to these big cannonballs, and then how are we going to do it? Like one big thing for us that we launched was our K Club, inspired by Dave Matthews Band's Warehouse Club. They have hundreds of thousands of people, they're loyal fans, that we're trying to take care of them because hundreds of thousands of fans can't come to Bananas games. So we launched a K Club just out of nowhere last year. 5,000 people stopped it. Now it's like we're going to go to another 25,000 and then to 50 and to 100. How are we going to launch that to make sure everybody has a great experience? And so understanding that, then understanding what are our big, huge events, like our live draft, where we announce like the NFL draft, where we're going, and inviting people to see that. I share, this is what I want this to look like. This is what our third brand, our fourth brand, our fifth brand, et cetera. As we build more teams, what does that look like? And then we go through it week by week, week by week, week by week. And then he gets it through the team. I meet with the entertainment and marketing team, who's really, I'm the creative director still of them. And I keep sharing the weekly vision of where we're going. And I think that's the key. I mean, yeah, we had 4 people. I think we now have 50, 60, 70. We're hiring 1 or 2 full-time every day. Our baseball players now are full-time, so that's another 40 we're going to add to that. So we have to share the vision over and over and over again.
Man, I love that. Yeah, and I love the Roy Walt analogy, and I think even more it sounds like he also is playing kind of that Herb Ryman role, the famous story of the Lost Weekend. I know you know this story of when Roy was going to New York to sell literally the idea of Disneyland, and he's like, "Hey Walt, no one else has this. It's all in your mind." And Herbie Ryman was the one that got it out of his head. I love that story, and I think so many leaders, flounder around because they have these big, great ideas, but yet they haven't had the courage to surround themselves with the people that can actually get them out of their head and get them into the world.
It's a great point too. You think, as you're talking about Herb, the fact that him drawing that original drawing was really what convinced the bankers to give money and ABC and everyone to back it. And, I think for us, our opportunity to create that same picture is going out to all these different Nashville, Indianapolis, Vegas. We have to go show it because everyone says, oh, I see the videos on TikTok, but I still don't understand it. So my job is to literally create the flywheel where we can continue to tour and play bigger venues all over the country and over the world. And then that's that visual that finally people can say, I get it now. I see what it's all about. Because you know how many people, Terry, come into our games skeptical or unsure of what they're about to see? It's a huge percentage. They have to see it.
I would
just
say
like
50% of the people that I brought.
Yeah. They're like, what is this? Yeah. You have to see it. People don't know what they want until they see it. I think that's what Steve Jobs said. And it's true. You have to see it. See, I believe it, and then they see it.
And I think a lot of us still left going, I don't know what this is, but we still fell in love with it. And there was a lot of surprise and delight and wonder. I told one of the people, like, on the drive home from the experience, I was like, I feel like we could go see that tomorrow and it wouldn't feel like we had just seen it. Because the people putting it on care about it so much. That great Dr. Seuss quote from Horton Hears a Hoot that, nothing's going to change unless someone cares like you. And
well,
you can definitely feel that you've created a culture of not where just you care, but everyone in the organization cares deeply about the mission and the vision and actually carrying it out.
Well, thank you. My wife shared this the first day in Savannah, and she put little cards around the concession stands, and it said, every game is someone's first game.
Yes.
Every game is someone's first game. And now, we've served 1.5 million people, whatever that number is now, and we still have that mindset. Every night is someone's first game. We better deliver our best show. And that's how I think that's so important for our whole team. And we talk to our team. Literally, when we come to the city, we meet with our entire staff team. We travel with 125 to 150 people, and we open with telling a fan's first story of someone on our team in a moment they created. As Walt Disney said, money doesn't excite me, my ideas excite me. For us, fans first, and the ideas that we do to create those fans first moments are everything. That's all we talk about. We don't talk about money. We don't talk about the amount of fans. We talk about those individual fans first moments. And at every single city we go to, Nashville, you name it, we open with those stories and say, what are we going to create tonight that we're going to talk about tomorrow?
Yeah. There wasn't a person that I took to the experience that wasn't looking for a way when they got home back to their family in their city, trying to figure out how to get the tickets when you guys were close. And that doesn't happen. I've taken people to all kinds of experiences, concerts. I love my Atlanta Braves, but you don't take people to a Braves game and they don't want to. That's not the experience. And I think you've truly created something that's bigger than a game, and that's truly remarkable.
I'm surprised, Terry, you haven't gone into all the failures. You've been really doing a nice love fest. We appreciate it. But if people only knew the 17, 18 years of the struggles and the challenges and the learnings that people maybe I'd appreciate a little bit more.
Well, I think right now in our world, man, and I think that might. Okay, I'll give you a hit. You want to your dad? That quote that your dad said about swing hard, get you hit. Here's a swing. I think you guys are positioned for. I mean, I hate to wax all like biblical here, but there's a verse in the Bible that says, "For such a time as this, the world is crazier than it's ever been, and it feels like hope is in short supply." And there's just something about sitting down in an uncomfortable seat at a ballpark and not wanting to sit down because you want to stand up because you want to see the whole thing. And I think the world is just ready for something fun again, more so now than any other. And you guys, one of the things I do when I go to experiences like this, and I hate to ruin this for people, is I love to turn on and watch everyone else experiencing it. And I watch the people in the box experience. I watch the girls, the little kids a few rows down, and every one of them of every age, from grandma to a 3-year-old, was captivated and slightly confused and expecting for what was going to happen next. And that's truly remarkable. And I think what Walt Disney did, if there was a word that I would use to describe what Walt did, that's the word remarkable. And I think you guys have really truly honed in on that.
I'll share with you one thing that I look at, and the reason why we developed Banana Ball, the 2-hour game, is because I was watching as fans were leaving games early. I watched as they were getting out of their seats, and we literally took videotape and pictures every 30 minutes of our grandstand for one entire season to see when they were leaving. We aren't going to do a survey, and see what they would say. We wanted to watch what they did. And now when we have rehearsals, we have a VIB rehearsal before anyone gets in, 150 fans. I don't watch what our players are doing as far as the dancing, the acts, the entertainment. I'm watching each fan. Are they on their phone? Are they videotaping? Are they watching? And the same thing today when we're doing something, often I don't watch if they hit it on the field. I'm watching the reaction from the crowd. And if I see fans at all are on their phones, I know there's a moment of boredom that we need to get better. If I watch their videotaping, that's good. Or if they're really enjoying and escaping the need to videotape because they're having fun with their family, that's even better. I think often we just watch what we do. We don't watch how our customers or fans react to what we do. And I think that's something that Walt was tremendous at and that I'm trying to get better at every single day, because that's going to help us make decisions in the future. Not what we think of what we're doing, what our customers and our fans think of what we're doing.
And that's the real reason he was in the park picking up trash.
Yes.
Because he knows that proximity leads to information, and information
100%.
leads to change.
100%.
So my wife would kill me, maybe not that, but if I didn't ask the questions that she had. I've got a ton of listener questions that we're not going to get to.
Sure.
I'm sorry, guys.
Sure. If we need to go a couple minutes over, we can go a couple minutes over. I could push a few. So let's rock.
Push a few. My wife asked this question about, she really was intrigued by your hiring process.
Sure.
And you have this 3-step hiring process to make you hire super fans. She wanted to hear about it, and then she said, the first part of it, she wants to hear the craziest video you ever got.
Yeah, she referred to. So 3 steps, we look for a video cover letter. We could tell in a few seconds whether we want to be around this person, whether they're engaging, whether they're fun. So video cover letter, why you want to be a part of this. Then a fans first essay. How do you fit our 6 core beliefs and stories and examples of how you've done that? And then finally, a future resume. Not interested in what you've done in the past. We want to know what you want to do in the future. And are you want to stay in the same position? Or are you actually going to grow? Are you going to grow with us? Are you going to grow outside of us? That's important to us. And it's a great exercise for people to think bigger, dream bigger. And we want everyone to do that in our organization. I have got some crazy videos. I mean, produced videos. I mean, I found videos with, from our video team that have tried to get jobs and worked to get jobs, literally full production of the family going out with the father, the mother. They're all playing roles, like this, like full depiction of the storyline of trying to get a job. I mean, people have taken it to the other next level, and it's fun to watch because you could see how much they care.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's really what this all comes down to, is who cares. And it's fun to watch people that care. One of the things that is in Fans First, your book, that really, you hear people say things and you're like, oh, that's cool. And there's some things people say that kind of come across you like a 2x4 in a good way. And you said legacy is not what you leave for people, it's what you leave in people. And what do you really want the legacy of the bananas to be for whatever the next iteration of what someone else is going to create? What do you want that legacy to be?
I don't know if I've thought tremendously deep on it at this point. I'm 39 years old, I've got 3 kids, and I think a little bit about it. But the reality with the bananas, I just want joy. I just want fun. I want people to feel like they can go to a place, feel safe, and at any point in the day, whether they're at a game or whether they're watching our content, whether it's virtual reality at that point, that they can turn us on and just get unfiltered joy. And like you said, you mentioned, and it was very complimentary about us providing hope. I hope that is something that we continue to provide, is that joy, fun, nothing too serious, because the reality is I think we need more of that these days than ever.
All right, 2 more questions, and then I'll let you go because you got a busy day. One of the big ideas that you talked about, we talked about this Fans First idea, and you talked about you can't create fans until you're a fan of yourself first. When you were at that point, man, where you guys were like literally sleeping on the floor, and things weren't a motivational posters at the chiropractor. They were pretty bleak. Man, in those moments, what did you do to be a fan of yourself and to realize that the vision was worth doing?
It started with the mornings, winning the mornings. And for me, it was very easy. And I went back into it, unfortunately, during COVID, where you'd wake up and look at the news and look at all the sad things that are going on and, pay attention to OPP, other people's priorities or other people's problems. As I say now, I'm not down with OPP anymore. You got to win the morning.
Yes.
And so for me, yeah, it was get up, write ideas, get your vegetables. For me, it's listening to business podcasts, going for a run, get good stuff. Your input affects your output. So if you wake up and saying, we have no money in our bank account, we're failing, seeing all the other challenges in the news, everything else, you're in trouble. But if you wake up on purpose and win the morning on purpose, and then again, follow your energy. I've created an energy list. Every day I look at my calendar and I do an energy audit. Am I doing things that give me energy or take away my energy? And so for me, even sleeping on an airbed, not eating real food, it was like, all right, I'm going to the office. I have 4 meetings. I get to share who we are, what we believe in, which gives me energy. I get to come up with ideas for new promotions. All right, I'm going to fire up this day and see what we can do. And one step ahead every day, make one great thing happen, and all of a sudden you can create more believers. And that's what it was all about.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. And I appreciate just the audacity when you look at an organization like what you guys do to just even have survived the pandemic. It's pretty remarkable. I was just with a large conference producer and was like, man, we barely made it. And it's a conference I know you've attended where a lot of people, it's, man, we barely made it. We found a way. Yeah. We scrapped through the team. We figured out how to do it. And it took a lot of imagination to figure out how to continue through. And thanks for not quitting. So the last question we always ask on the Making Elephants Fly podcast, and you're a Disney fan, so you're going to be done with this one, is inspired by Dumbo. And there's an amazing moment in the movie Dumbo where Timothy Mouse gives Dumbo a feather, and we all know that feather wasn't magical, but it was the feather that gave him the courage to soar. What is your feather? What is the thing that helps you soar when maybe bad news is hit, or maybe when it feels like, oh, that one thing you wanted to go do you guys couldn't do, or that idea that you thought would work didn't work? How do you keep going?
Gratitude. And I could just leave it like that and keep it simple, but I'll share a quick story. In 2013, I found out my dad was battling 2 forms of cancer. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He had a tumor the size of a pear outside of his liver, and it was bad. And he was up in Boston. I was down running our former team in Gastonia, North Carolina. And I visited him, but when I came back, I had to work, and I'd call him every day from the hospital. And I said, Dad, how you doing? And he said, Jess, I'm great. And I go, okay. And he'd say, what's going on with you? Tell me about the team. What are you guys working on? What's the cool new promotion? Every day. And I called him. He said he was great. And then one day I called him. I said, Dad, how you doing? He goes, I'm good. Jess, what's going on? What are you guys up to? And I talked to my mother afterwards, and they said it was the sickest he's ever been, throwing up all night. He wasn't sure he was going to make it. It was that bad. And he said, good. The next day I called, and he said, Jess, I'm great. How are you doing? A few months later, he was in remission. He had defeated cancer, and the doctors at Beth Israel Hospital said he was the most positive patient they've ever had. And when people ask me what's the best advice I've received, and yeah, my dad said swing hard in case you hit it. He's given me so much good advice. I think back to how my dad acted during adversity. He wasn't focused
Mm.
on himself. He was focused on others, asking about me. And every day he brought the positivity and optimism. I'm great. And so when I think about all the small stuff, the challenges, the adversity, I'm filled with so much gratitude and love for my dad and the positivity that he brought, that is what keeps me going, thinking about him, thinking about the positivity and saying, you know what, no matter what's in front of you, no matter what challenge, you got this.
Man, I love that so much. And thank you so much, man, for your time. I know you guys are busy. You're doing this, recording this right in the middle of your Banana Ball World Tour. And I would highly encourage you guys to go out, get a ticket to the game if you can. Beg, borrow, and steal. Ask your friends and neighbors if they have tickets. And man, go get Jesse's book. Go get some banana merch. And let's cheer on people who are doing amazing work. And when you want more of something in the world, the best way to make sure more comes is to go out and to support it. And Jesse, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for just your generosity, both on the field and off, and even just in your time today. And thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time on the Making Elephants Fly podcast.
Thank you.